Hey folks, Tanette here. Wanted to talk about MMT again and talk a little bit about the Green New Deal and how our media likes to frame everything in a negative manner, and how politicians, you can always tell when they're fighting for you or not. So I think it's pretty much a well-known fact that we all know that the national media, the CNNs, MSNBC, Fox News, they are all basically working for corporate America, and they are trying to spin the narrative because they want the people to believe a certain way. So they don't often speak in truth. Rarely do they give actual details or data when they talk about things. You'll hear them talk about the left going radically to the left and becoming all progressives are socialists, and that what a danger it would be to society. But you never hear them say why it would be a danger to society. All you hear is, oh, socialist, socialist, socialism, socialism, socialism. You know, oh, the radical left, they're going to ruin our country, blah, blah, blah. So let me just ask you a question. Do you think it's more beneficial to a citizen to make a mediocre to less than livable wage working for a capitalist company like Walmart or Amazon or any of the multitude of fast food restaurants, or do you think it would be more beneficial to our economy and to citizens to have them work on projects that benefit the nation where the federal government is paying the bill? So in other words, we need to go green. We want a Green New Deal. There's going to be millions of jobs created to convert to a sustainable environment for our nation, which is going to benefit everybody. To have clean energy will be more affordable, lower cost energy bills, and then also it will be really good paying jobs. So when the government decides to spend money for the greater good of the economy or the nation, that's what they're supposed to do per the Constitution. That's why they were given the authority to mint and tax for the general welfare and defense of. So we don't want crumbling roads. We want good schools. We want good airports. We want state-of-the-art, public transportation. We want to go green because we want to have a planet here to leave to our children that can sustain them. Now, everybody will just say, well, who's going to pay for it? Who's going to pay for it? Who's going to pay for it? So we know Congress creates money at will. And so when you ask who's going to pay for it, well, Congress is just going to authorize the spending. And that all that means is that Congress is going to hire its citizens to implement the things that we need implemented. So they're going to hire the contractors. They're going to hire the construction companies. They're going to put jobs out to bid so that we can make these changes. And I don't know any company that doesn't want a government contract. I mean, if I was a contractor and they put up a bid to rebuild 5 bridges in my area, and I have 100 employees, and these 5 bridges, to fix them is going to take 5 years, let's say. If I win that bid, then that means my guys have worked for 5 years. And they're going to pay a living wage because there's not a profit motive. There is a result motive. So they don't have to turn a profit. The federal government creates money at will. All it needs to do is hire people that are skilled enough to fulfill that need. Okay? So the federal government's going to authorize the spending, and the people doing the work are going to get paid. I don't know what's so scary about that. I mean, I honestly don't. We have millions of people that are getting paid from the federal government, and minus this idiocy of the government shutdown, There is no reason why any government employee would not get paid. You never have to worry about the government running out of money or going under. Right now we have a government shutdown that's self-imposed. It's not necessitative. There's no necessity for it. It's very childlike, it's immature, it's detrimental to society, it's harming our citizens. Also, Trump can have a wall, which should just show you how much he truly cares for the citizen. We can have conversations about border security, and the Democrats and Republicans agreed to give him $1.2 billion to increase the border security down on the Mexico border, and both Republicans and Democrats agreed to it, and he didn't take it. So he just keeps moving the bar higher and higher and higher and higher. And it's silly to me. We have 10 years left until climate change has moved and changed our atmosphere to a point of no return. So why are we worrying about a freaking wall on the border when we really need to be worried about converting our nation and the world to green energy? We should be embracing the people that are needing a good place to live and needing a place to work, because we need as many workers as possible to implement these changes. We really do. And we can pay them because we're a sovereign nation. We can pay them. And when you talk about healthcare, we can create jobs, really good paying jobs, just in the education, infrastructure, green energy, and healthcare systems alone. Just those 4 pieces of legislature would put tens of millions, if not 20 million people to work, if not 30 million. The goal is a good society. So when they talk about socialism, the Constitution has socialism baked right in it. We hire via elections the people that are supposed to represent us to decide where to spend the money in the nation. Where do we spend the money? We're not spending money. We're not asking them to buy everybody a pony like they always like to make fun of Bernie. We're not asking them to buy everybody a Mercedes-Benz. What we are asking for are common sense things that make a society work. And part of those common sense things are healthcare for its citizens, education and training for its citizens, good public transportation, good roads, good hospitals, good airports, good schools, all of those things. We should be paying our teachers a very good wage. Not, the federal government can decide to pick any sector, and it can decide to pay them whatever it wants. It has that power. So we decide as a people, not the government. As a society, the public should be pushing our Congress people and telling them, what do we value? We value healthcare, we value education, we value clean environment, clean water, clean air, we value healthy food, we value education, and to that end, we are going to invest in those. We also care about our elderly, and so we're going to increase the spend on Social Security, which is 100% solvent, can never be broke. We can never run out of money to pay our Social Security recipients. So we need to be putting in infrastructure to make sure that we have enough food for those recipients, and that our water is clean enough, and that we have clean energy, and we have affordable energy, and all the things that we need. We have enough doctors, and we have enough dentists, and we have enough techs to do the work to take care of the citizen. So just try to put things in perspective and realize that every time you hear a freaking newscaster refer to somebody as radical left or a socialist, that they are fighting against the citizen completely. There's no truth in it. There's no benefit to what they say. I mean, do you rather have your wages suppressed by capitalism? Because that's what it does. Capitalism tries to get, and we don't even have a true competition out in the marketplace. There are so many monopolies that have overtaken industry. And we don't realize it because they all keep their own little names. But Nestle, you might say, oh, I boycott Nestle. But do you even know how many different companies Nestle owns? We have such a small pool of companies to buy from. And our pool of information, where we get our information on the news and in the newspapers, I think it's six main companies that own everybody, right? And they're all selling their narrative. So just remember that and start thinking about, when you talk about the government, you're talking about you and me. We are the government. We decide. Right now, we have not pushed. We should be in the streets. We should already have health care. We should already have student debt. The student debt crisis should be ended. Those loans should have already been canceled. Those are loans that should have never, ever been put onto its citizens. There are things that can be immediately done to help the citizens of America be better off. And when you talk about tax rates, taxes should never, ever, ever be tied to spending. They're totally different functions. Spending is brand new money, and taxation is removing money from the system. You don't pay for things with taxes. Taxes drive the currency, and it also drives behavior, but it should never be thought that $1 spending has to equal $1 of taxes. Why would you vote for that? We need the money supply to increase so that people can have increased savings, so that they can have more money in the system and not have to borrow money from the banks. We have $51 trillion in consumer debt and only $22 trillion worth of real cash. So figure out how we would ever pay off $51 trillion in debt if we don't even have that much money in existence. So we have to have more spending to get to that point. Anyways, have a good day, you guys.